How's it going, Vault Hunters? Welcome back to another Borderlands 2 Legendary Weapons Guide. Today, we're going to be going after the legendary Molly 1 SMG known as the Hellfire. Now, the Hellfire can only come in Fire Element and is a base game item, which means no DLCs are required. And the red text for this item reads, "We don't need no fire." And please know that the prefix of your Hellfire may be different to mine, but will always be some variation of the Hellfire. To find your very own Hellfire, we're first going to need to go to our nearest fast travel station and go to a location known as Frostburn Canyon. Once loaded into the area, open up your map and scroll down to the right, and within the red circle we'll be finding the enemy known as Scorch. Now, Scorch is a giant spider ant type enemy that is completely engulfed in fire. Although having a red HP health bar, he is highly resistant to fire damage. Now, in order to get Scorch to first spawn in, you will have to progress through the campaign and complete the main quest known as Hunting the Firehawk. Once completed, you can meet Lilith in Sanctuary, where she will give you this multi-chain side quest known as Cult Following. Now, with this multi-step side quest, we will only have to complete Cult Following the Eternal Flame and Cult Following False Idols. Once you've completed and turned in False Idols, Scorch will now be a guaranteed spawn with a 10% chance at dropping you the Hellfire. Now, the Hellfire does in fact have two other dedicated drop sources, one of them being DIGI Scorch from Right on Digistruck Peak DLC, as well as the other coming from Sully the Blacksmith from the Halloween Headhunter pack. Sully is also a one-time encounter per playthrough, and they both have a 10% chance at dropping the Hellfire. I personally recommend you just farm the base game Scorch. The closest non-unique item in the game to the Hellfire would be a purple Molly 1 SMG with matching element, parts, and prefix. Although its purple counterpart does take the edge when it comes to overall base damage and accuracy, the Hellfire tries to make up for it with its burn damage per second as well as ignite chance. And let's not forget the Hellfire's hidden legendary ability of splash damage. And how splash damage works is once you fire upon a target, you will hit them once for the overall base damage of the weapon, followed by a secondary elemental explosion that will deal a percentage of the overall base damage. In the Hellfire's case, its splash damage is 50% of its total base damage. And as usual with items with splash damage, you are capable of dealing damage to targets by hitting surfaces near them, as well as being able to damage additional targets that get too close into the proximity of the enemy you're damaging. Now that we understand how this item functions, let's see how the damage is against my facelock method. As usual, I have the main damage prefixes for the item, a Rough Rider shield, a slide grenade, an elemental relic, as well as no skills, and my badass bar is turned off. No. As you can see, the damage is actually really close. I can't even tell which one came on top, but let's go again with slag. Now that we know everything that we need to know about the Hellfire, let's break down the god roll, starting with the barrel. Thankfully, we don't have to worry about this due to the barrel being locked as the Molly 1 legendary Hellfire barrel. This is what makes it shoot its unique projectile. Next, we're going to be looking for a prefix or accessory. We're going to be looking for the damage prefix, which you can see by this little square black box. This will boost the overall damage by roughly 10%. Next part we're going to be looking for is the grip. In this case, we're going to be looking for a Molly 1 grip. This will give us the manufacturer bonus, increasing our magazine size as well as reload speed. Next part we're going to be looking for is the stock. For the stock, we're going to be looking for a Hyperion stock. This will give us increased accuracy as well as accuracy recovery. Finally, the sights. As usual, sights do not affect how this gun performs, so pick whatever sight you personally prefer. So that does it for me when it comes to covering the Hellfire. As usual, I always try and show these items in their most bare bones state so you as a player can determine whether or not this item is worth going after for your character. If I had to make any recommendations for characters this item would be pretty decent on, I'd recommend Axton and Maya. Axton for all his abilities that increase splash damage, and Maya for the elemental chance and elemental damage that she can provide. I also just want to quickly mention that if you do get like all the best parts but the rate of fire prefix over damage, don't sweat it. Their damage and performance is so close, if not identical, that the only time you're really going to see them outperform each other is depending on what characters you use, and that's really just coming down to min-maxing. So if you get either of the prefixes and then all the best parts, you could still consider it a god roll. And I just want to say before I go and leave you with the footage of me fighting Terramorphous, thank you so much for 200 subscribers. As of making this video, we hit that goal. And, you know, I'll see you in the next episode, Vault Hunters.